Hi everyone. First, let me begin by saying how impressed I am with the discussion responses by the class. I particularly like the responses that you post to your classmates' responses. It is nice to see the interaction between the class. I do read each and every single response, sometimes even the blank spaces and the duplicate responses. So, I wanted to post some videos and give you some opinions on the discussion questions, give you my opinions on the discussion questions. Let's talk about the question on regional trading blocks. I think the overwhelming majority of the class stated that regional trading blocks was the way to go in the future. I must say that I tend to agree with that assessment. Being an isolationist is just not good for business strategy for nations. We also have to realize that isolationism can lead to other problems that we see in terms of conflict, terrorism. Being inclusive and dealing with multiple nations can alleviate some of these issues. No one wants to fight with their friends, right? So it's good for nations to form alliances with other nations and trade with each other so that the possibility of conflict reduces with those nations. And the more friends you have, the less the possibility of conflict. Now, there are definitely pros and cons to the concept of trading blocks. As some of you pointed out, NAFTA, which is the North American Free Trade Agreement, helped the region, particularly Mexico. However, others also stated that US suffered job losses due to NAFTA. And some other people suggested that it's not like Mexico became rich all of a sudden, right? They still have a middle class, they still have a poor class. It didn't seem like NAFTA did a significant made a significant difference for their economy. So the question is not about whether these trading blocks are good or bad. The question is, what options do we have? Are there other possible types of trading relationships that can work better than trading blocks? And unfortunately, the answer to that has been no. Nations have evolved from trading with each other on a singular basis, meaning one nation trades with another nation on a singular basis, to trying to form some kind of relationship with nations, to where they felt comfortable dealing with that nation and focusing on things that they were good at and letting the other nation focus on things that they were good at and then trade goods and services with those nations. So we have to think about these trading blocks in a long term. I don't think you will see the benefits of these types of relationships being profitable in the short run. It is going to involve some pain for nations like the US, which loses the blue collar jobs and certain white collar jobs to, let's say, Mexico. But that's just the part of how life is, how business life is. The hope we have is in the future, by our jobs going overseas, we hope that their standard of living goes up. It goes up to a point where they start not just producing our goods, but also buying our goods. And that's really the ultimate challenge that businesses have, is they don't want to just set up a plant in Mexico or China or India. They want the people of those nations to purchase those products. That's where the money is. So if you think of the concept of trading blocks, you also should think of it as economies of scale for nations. You know that for a business, you get economies of scale when you produce more, because the more units you produce, the lower your cost of production, and the lower your cost of production, the higher your profits. So you can either get high profits when your production costs go down, or you can reduce the price for your consumers, which then helps you sell more products. So think of trading blocks as an opportunity for nations to do the same thing. For nations to say, if I can sell more goods than just to my nation, then I will be able to reduce the cost of producing those goods, which will in effect help me make more money. So have a long-term view for trading blocks. And I think the question is not as much whether we should have them, it's we have to have them. That's a part of our business world. That's what we're going to be faced with for the next at least 40, 50 years.